Welcome to the start of a short mini-series where we'll cover the basics of commonly used tools in Microsoft Excel. My name is Alex Cooksey and I'm a consulting manager here at Heinfeld Meach. In this first session, we'll walk through the basics of how to perform a VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP within Excel. There are various methods to approach both functions, but today our focus will be on a simple approach for each. Both functions help save time, reduce errors, and quickly pull meaningful information across multiple data sets. My contact information is listed on the last slide in the event you have any follow-up after watching. Before we jump into the formulas themselves, let's take a step back to understand what a lookup is. A lookup function allows you to find a value in one place and return related information from somewhere else. You can think of it like looking up a word in a dictionary. You find the word and the dictionary gives you the definition. With the lookup value, this same process is now automated. Within Excel, there are various lookup functionalities. VLOOKUP stands for vertical lookup, meaning Excel will search for your value in a column from top to bottom. HLOOKUP stands for horizontal lookup, meaning Excel will search for your value across a row from left to right. For the purposes of today's session, we will not be going over how to perform the HLOOKUP. XLOOKUP is a newer function offering greater flexibility by combining both the VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP functions together. The XLOOKUP function searches left, right, top, and bottom and doesn't require any preparation of the data. Let's start with what most people are familiar with, the VLOOKUP function. The V stands for vertical, which means Excel looks up and down vertically to find a match. The function searches for a value in the first column of your data set. Once it finds a match, it returns information from another column you've selected within the same row as the lookup value. Two key limitations is that the VLOOKUP formula needs the first column of the data set to include your lookup value, and it can only look to the right of that column for any results. Best practice to avoid running into any issues with this requires you to set up your data by moving your lookup value column to the leftmost column in all data sets. I'll show an example of this after the next slide. The VLOOKUP formula has 4 elements, and let's break each of them down. The first element is the lookup value. This is the value you want to search for. It must exist in both data sets and serves as the common identifier. The table array is the full range of cells that contains both the lookup value and the results you want returned. You'll need to make sure your lookup value is in the first column of this range. The column index number tells Excel which column in the table array you want to pull data from. For example, if your result is in the third column of your selected table range, you would enter the number 3. The range lookup determines whether you want an exact match or an approximate match. You'll type false for an exact match. This is the most commonly used option. You would type out true only when you want an approximate match. This is a less commonly used option. Let's do a live VLOOKUP example together. An Arizona school district wants to verify if their 100th day membership totals in their student information system agrees with the totals reported by the Arizona Department of Education on the ADM 15 report. If you work within an Arizona school district and want to follow along, instructions on how to obtain the required reports are listed on the slide. Let's pivot over to Excel now and do the VLOOKUP example together. So for the purposes of this training, I already have up the student information system data. It includes the state student ID and the membership days reporting by the 100th day. I also have the same information from the ADM 15 report. State student ID, membership days, reporting by the 100th day. So what I'm using my VLOOKUP for here in this example is I'm trying to pull in the ADM 15 membership days onto my student information system tab. That way I can see visually by student to check if the membership days in the student information system agree with the ADM 15. So let's get the data set up first. We need to move the lookup value column to the leftmost column. So that is going to be the state student ID here. So we'll right-click, cut, and right-click in column A, insert cut cells. That moved the state student ID to the left and the ADM type down to the right. I need to do the same thing with the ADM 15 report. So I'm going to right-click and cut on column B, and I'm going to right-click and insert cut cells into column A. That moved the ADM type to the right and my state student ID to the left. Now back onto my Student Information Systems tab, I'm going to start typing in the formula to pull in that data. Equals VLOOKUP, open parentheses. You'll see the formula kind of populates here. It's asking for the lookup value. That is going to be my state student ID number. I'm going to click that and then add a comma next to it. That moves it down to the next element, asking for the table array. The table array is on the ADM 15 tab, so I'll need to click over there. And then I'm actually just going to click on column A, hold my cursor down, and drag to capture all columns, all the way to column F. That's going to capture all the data here. Then I'm going to do a comma. Now it's asking for the column index number. That is the column in which I want to see the data return, the results from. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Column 6. I'll type a 6 there and add a comma. The range lookup. This is if I want an exact match or an approximate match. I will type false because in this case, I want an exact match. And then I closed my parentheses and click enter. You'll see now 85 came through. My membership days on my student information system has 58, but my ADM 15 has 85 for this student. So I would need to do a bit more research to see why those are off. To drag the formula down, I can come and click into the cell, and then the bottom right-hand corner of the cell, I can double click, and the formula for the VLOOKUP actually dragged down and populated all the way through. From here, you would review each student that had a variance in their student information system membership days and the ADM 15 membership days. Now let's look at an XLOOKUP, the modern replacement for both VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. Unlike VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP isn't restricted with its columns, and it isn't limited to only looking to the right. It can search in any direction, left, right, up, or down, giving you much more flexibility in your search. The only real limitation with XLOOKUP is that it won't work in older versions of Excel. You must be using Excel 2021 or newer, or Microsoft 365. The XLOOKUP formula only has 3 required elements. Let's break them down. The first element is the lookup value. Same as the VLOOKUP, this is the value you want to search for. It must exist in both data sets and serves as a common identifier. The lookup array is the range where Excel will look for that lookup value. Think of it as the column or range Excel will scan to find your match. The return array is the column or range where Excel will pull the result from once it finds the match. There are additional optional elements within the XLOOKUP formula, but to keep things simple, we're focusing on only the required parts needed to perform the function. Let's do a live XLOOKUP example now together using the same reports from the VLOOKUP example. Let's pivot on over to Excel now and do the live example. So we have the same data set as our VLOOKUP example. Except in this case, we actually don't need to set up our data, meaning moving the state ID column to the left. We can just come right into our cell here and start typing the XLOOKUP formula. Open parentheses. It's asking for my lookup value. So that is going to be my state student ID, comma, lookup array. That's where I want it to look. And I want it to look on my ADM15 tab. And I want it to look in column B, because that is what includes my state student ID number. Then I'm going to do another comma, return array. What do I want it to return with once it finds that state student ID number? I want it to return with the membership days number. Close bracket or close my parentheses and click enter. Much faster than the VLOOKUP, less fields to input, and you get the same results. So I'm going to drag that formula on down, and there we go. Now we would compare membership days for my student information system to that from the ADM15. In the example today, we use the VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP functions to compare student information system data to ADE's ADM15 report. There are several other ways to use these functions, including comparing current year beginning capital asset balances to prior year ending asset balances, comparing employee data by using the employee ID as the common identifier across various payroll reports. Same with vendor data. You can compare vendor data across various reports by using the vendor ID as the common identifier. With these basics, you're ready to start using the VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP functions on your own. Stay tuned for more quick Excel tips, and thanks for watching.